Have you ever wished your TPU prints had more bounce, more durability, and maybe even felt closer to real world products? Well, there is a new player in the flexible filament game. It's called PEBA, and some are calling it the Super TPU. Today I'll be testing Synbotron's PEBA filament on the Bambu Lab A1 and H2D, printing everything from tennis balls to massage wheels and even handbags and a pumpkin. And by the end, we'll see if PEBA deserves a spot on your filament shelf. So, what is PEBA exactly? PEBA stands for polyether block amide. Unlike standard TPU, which can sometimes feel plasticky and doesn't have the greatest elasticity, PEBA offers a unique balance. It's lightweight, super elastic, and resistant to low temperature. Synbotron has launched a range of products on the market, including PEBA 90A, PEBA 85A, PEBA 80A, foam PEBA, and PEBU, which combines the properties of both PEBA and TPU. I received the PEBA 90A and 85A in black and orange, and I printed them across two different printers to see how they hold up. Now, will this completely replace TPU? Probably not. But if you need something printed in TPU, there is still time to take advantage of the deal that today's video sponsor is running, PCB Way.
PCB Way has a whole host of specials going on in the month of September. Ever wanted to print something in TPU but didn't want to deal with the hassles? Well, through the end of the month, they are running a special where the more you print, the more you save. Prints over 64 grams get an incredible 80% off. Or maybe you're designing your own PCB and you don't want that standard green look. Through the end of September, you can choose a purple solder mask at no extra cost. And PCBWay is running their 8th design contest with cash prizes up to $1,500. Head on over to PCBWay.com to see all that they have to offer.
For testing, I used both the Bambu Lab A1 and the Bambu Lab H2D. The idea was simple. Print the same models on both machines, compare how they handle the PEBA, and then test the performance in real life. And the big showdown? An airless tennis ball printed in PEBA 90A compared head-to-head with TPU 95A and a real tennis ball. Let's talk about printing these airless tennis balls first. Synbotron sent me some printing guidelines for this filament. They recommend using a new nozzle to ensure that you don't have any nozzle clog issues, and you need a very low resistance feed path to the printer. The first ball was printed with the filament feeding out of a filament dryer. The results were okay, but I wanted to see if I could improve the results, so I followed the guideline recommendations and printed a low resistance spool holder for the A1. This improved the results a little bit, but the support area on both the prints suffered some. Now, the one thing I didn't do was use a new nozzle since I didn't have one on hand for my A1. We'll talk about that again a little later on in the video. The next print I tried was the same ball on the H2D with PETG as a support material. Synbotron also has a profile for the airless tennis ball on MakerWorld for the H2D. This ball turned out beautifully. Now, I'm not quite sure why this happened, but the H2D printed ball weighs 56 grams, whereas the A1 ball only weighs 36 grams. You can see from the screenshots here that they both use the same amount of filament for the model. Finally, I printed the ball in Giant Arm TPU 95A on the H2D, again using PETG as a support material. Although I used the same file with the settings used for this brand of TPU, the 95A TPU ball weighs 72 grams. Now, here's where things get fun. The PEBA 90A ball printed cleanly on both printers, but when it came to bounce, this is where PEBA really showed off. Compared to the TPU 95A version, PEBA gave noticeably more rebound. Despite the difference in weight, the airless tennis ball printed on the H2D performed about the same as the ball printed on the A1. All of the PEBA balls seem to perform on par with the real tennis ball. That's really impressive. So, if you're printing sports equipment or anything that needs springiness, PEBA has a real edge. But tennis balls aren't the only test. I printed this massage wheel with a PETG core and a PEBA outer wheel. And it's flexible enough to feel comfortable, but durable enough to hold up under pressure. This massage wheel also now features a squishy PEBA handle, super grippy, shock absorbing, and way more comfortable than a hard plastic version. And for fun, yes, I printed a couple of handbags out of PEBA. The flexibility is amazing. It bends, it twists, and it bounces back. Now here is where we need to address the nozzle recommendation again. When I went to print the first bag on the A1 using the orange 85 PEBA filament, I noticed that my first layer was not coming out well, but I figured I'd let it run and see how things turned out. Well, here is the result. Layer adhesion suffered tremendously, and this bag was a total failure. I ran a flow rate calibration, increased the flow rate a bit, but I was still having issues. Then I grabbed my rarely used hardened steel nozzle, did a couple of cold pulls to ensure the nozzle was as clean as could be, and then tried the print again. This time the print quality was greatly improved. Here is the same bag printed with the fresh nozzle. Next, I grabbed the black PEBA 90A filament and printed this bag. Again, the results are terrific, and this bag is strong. I actually had to use 4 different size drill bits to step up the hole in this in order to attach the handle rings. Drilling into this is like drilling into rubber. It just kind of fills back in. This bag will be around long after I leave the earth. Guess I better put it in my will. And just because it's fall, I couldn't resist printing a pumpkin in bright PEBA orange. It's squishy, it's weird, and honestly, it's kind of adorable. Now, I know everyone seems wild about printing footwear out of TPU currently, and I was pretty set against jumping on that trend. I use my printers for business, and I can't tie up my H2D for 50+ hours printing shoes that I'll probably never wear. But I did find something that didn't take several days to print, and I thought I might actually like to try. So here we have some mighty PEBA chanclas. These are printed in the Synbotron 90A black for the sole and the 90A orange for the top band. They are plenty squishy, and I have a feeling that they might outlast my flow hose that are already showing signs of wear. All right, let's talk about the pros and cons of this filament. We'll start with the pros. Superior elasticity and energy rebound. Synbotron PEBA provides exceptional flexibility with elongation at break exceeding 500% and tensile strength up to 28 MPa. This ensures printed parts can withstand repeated stretching and bending while maintaining their original form and strength. Exceptional self-fusing capability. PEBA's layers bond seamlessly during printing, delivering parts with outstanding interlayer adhesion. The strong self-fusing property prevents delamination and enhances structural reliability in demanding applications. Fast printing efficiency. With a maximum volumetric flow rate of 7.2 millimeters cubed per second, almost double the speed of TPU, PEBA enables faster, more stable printing. This efficiency reduces production time without compromising print quality. It's easy to print on the Bambu Lab A1 and H2D. It showed good adhesion and no extruder jams. It's great that there is already a profile on MakerWorld so you can download it and save the settings. They also provide guidelines to create your own profile if needed. It has a soft touch feel. It is ideal for grips and wearables. Now, let's talk about the cons. It is more expensive than standard TPU. These reels are only 800 grams instead of the standard 1 kilogram that most of us usually order. I believe that the length of the filament is the same, but since it is lighter, you don't have the same weight per spool. Next, like most specialty filaments, you do need to make sure your printer is prepared for it, and you'll need to pay attention to your settings. You should follow the manufacturer's recommendation on settings and nozzle and extruder cleanliness. Next, like TPU, it is highly hygroscopic. Synbotron PEBA is factory dried and sealed. It typically does not require driving it if you use it within 3 days of opening. If severe stringing occurs, they recommend redrying the filament at 80 degrees Celsius for 8 hours or 65 degrees Celsius for 18 hours. So, is PEBA the future of flexible filaments? I'd say it's definitely worth trying, especially if you print things like sports gear, grips, or anything that benefits from bounce and flexibility. TPU isn't going anywhere, but PEBA feels like a serious upgrade in certain use cases. Synbotron is launching their new line of filament on Kickstarter. I'll put the link in the description. If you've tried PEBA, let me know in the comments how it worked for you. And if you found this review helpful, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you get an alert whenever I drop new content. As always, I enjoy the time that we get to spend together here on the channel. Let's keep on learning, burning, printing, and growing together. Take care, everyone.